Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today I've got a very special first look for all of you. We're going to be checking out the brand new 15-inch Mega Sofubi version of the Masters of the Universe character Scareglow. This brand new Scareglow, which is inspired by the original vintage action figure, comes to us from Mondo, and it's something I personally have been very excited for. You see, they took the idea of that original 5.5-inch Scareglow action figure, a character that everybody has really come to adore from the original MOTU toy line, and they blew him up into this 15-inch scale. But get this, they put visible bones inside the figure. It looks amazing, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about as we dive into this. Joining me on today's video is Senior Creative Director over at Mondo, Hector Arce, and he's going to give us a little bit of insight into the process of creating this amazing new Sofubi figure. So, without further ado, let's dive right in and give it a look. Of course, we've got to start by talking about the packaging. Now, if you've collected any of Mondo's 1/6 scale Masters of the Universe figures, I think you're familiar with the type of box packaging that comes with those. This is similar, but it is quite a bit bigger, with the box itself standing nearly 17 inches tall, 14 inches across, of course, because it needs to hold a 15-inch jumbo action figure. But the box itself is very cool and matches up perfectly with Scareglow. We've got this amazing cave tunnel kind of theme here with stalactites and stalagmites, with a stylized version of the Scareglow name down at the bottom. And if we rotate this around on the sides, you can see the word soft vinyl with the Scareglow name, and the back gives us a little bio. While the bright green and the deep black of this box is pretty nice looking and definitely matches up with the character, this definitely takes it another level, because just like the figure, the box itself glows in the dark.
So our team, Jordan Christensen on our team, who oversees a lot of our packaging design here at Mondo, him and I were talking, and he was like, hey, he just kind of showed me the concept. He was just like, hey, this is the idea I had. It'd be great to have like a window and kind of have him in like a cave and all of that. And then it was just like, it just kind of clicked. It just worked. And we're like, well, let's make the box glow in the dark. Like, can we do that? Because the box does glow in the dark. So we wanted this to feel special. We wanted it to feel, again, like obviously we do the 1/6 scale figures, and those are amazing, right? And they're a high price point and all that kind of stuff. But we really wanted this to feel like, because of the simplicity of the nature of what it is compared to the 1/6, right? There's not that much detail, paint apps, complicated articulation and all that. We still wanted it to feel premium. We wanted it to feel very special, something that it's like it's like, you don't want to miss out on this, because like it's that cool, even in the packaging, right? Like, you could keep them in the packaging if you wanted to. You can still see his face and part of his chest, and you can light the whole package up and all of it lights up, right? So it's such a cool idea that you can keep the box and keep it as like a way to store them, and you could still display it at the same time, even if you were storing it that way, and you didn't want them to get damaged or whatever. But yeah, I mean, the package is just turned out awesome, and Jordan did a great job.
So out of the package, this is our 15-inch tall version of Scareglow. And man, just look how creative this figure is. So of course, I think many of us know, who have been collecting Masters of the Universe for a long time, Scareglow was always a very cool looking figure, but I think he was also very limited with what they were able to do at the time. He always utilized the same muscle-bound body as the rest of the figures in the line, but they did a clever paint deco on there to make him look like skeleton bones, and of course the fact that he glows in the dark was icing on the cake. With the purple cape, he was always a very striking looking character. But now Hector and the folks at Mondo have done something that I think many of us have wanted to see for a very long time, and they actually sculpted a full skeletal structure and put it inside a translucent version of that muscle-bound body that we all know and love from Masters of the Universe. And it is amazing.
Collecting Masters of the Universe figures when we were kids. I remember, you know, holding a Scareglow. I never had one, but my friends had one. I remember holding it and being like, "This is one of the coolest toys ever made." Like when I was younger, and then I always wondered. I was like, "Oh," and I saw like how he looked in like the mini comic where it actually looked like he was transparent with bones inside of him, right? So it was almost like I want to see that, and I've always wanted to see that as a kid and just growing up, and it just never happened somehow. So I felt like it was my responsibility to fill that void somehow and make it happen. And it took a bit. It took a minute of brainstorming, figuring out what the best material was going to be to use for it, what was going to look clean and updated. My whole purpose here was to not update, but just recreate the same figure that we love, just in a bigger version and just like an awesome collectible display piece that kind of honors what came before it. We have some amazing, photography that's going to be shown down the line that kind of shows the original toy with ours and stuff like that, and like the scale, right? Obviously, I wanted to make something big, collectible, something that felt like it was very designer at the same time while pushing what we could do with the medium of soft vinyl, right? And kind of hopefully giving a lot of folks what they've always dreamed of when they were holding their old Scareglow figure, which was like, oh, I wonder what this would look like if it actually had bones inside of it. And those bones glowed.
It's so cool to see the way this turned out. And just look at the beautiful details here. Now, first of all, this figure just feels awesome. So he is a soft vinyl figure, but there's quite a bit of weight to him here. There's no articulation in the legs, but he does stand nice and stable on a table. You can see the feet are flat, perfectly balanced. I love the paint deco on here with this deep purple. Same can be seen here on the loincloth, with the belt sort of having like this metallic purple paint deco that is absolutely beautiful. And of course, he's also wearing this cloth cape, which is, of course, a staple of the figure, especially in that vintage toy line. The cape is really nicely done. You can see the stitched pattern on here, the way it's layered with the collar up at the top, mimicking the look of that vintage cape. But one of the things that's really nice here is Mondo did add some wires on the sides of the cape. So there is a bit of posability here. If you want to kind of pose the cape as if it's blowing, that is something that you can do. Really nicely done here. And the cape looks awesome, definitely completing the overall look. And then that head sculpt up there is also extremely nice as well. This head sculpt is meant to mimic the look of the vintage action figure. But one of the things that is included in this is a new head that's got a bit more detail on it for you there. You can see the way the teeth are painted and sculpted, the eyes, that awesome shadow effect on the front of the face. This is sort of like the Mondo-ified version. So that way you can display them with that vintage head sculpt if that's what you prefer, or you can do this updated one. And in order to swap the heads out, you should be able just to pull this head right off this joint at the top here. Boom, just like that. You can see it's pretty tight in there, but if you're familiar with a vinyl figure, I think you would know exactly what to expect. And then that new head should just stretch right over just like that, but it's a nice tight grip, still posable so you can swivel the head left and right. And that is the new look for Scareglow, which I think is equally as awesome. In fact, I do love those extra details on the face there. I think that looks really, really nice.
The idea was from the beginning to make this a big soft vinyl, like jumbo version of the original toy, right? And when it comes to the material of soft vinyl, because you can pull it from a mold without necessarily having to have seam lines, it lent itself to being the best way to go about this, where it didn't feel like, it still felt like the original toy almost. Like it has like a good kind of tactile feeling to it. It's kind of soft and it's kind of hard. It feels good in your hand. But just the method of the slush cast, which is a slush cast soft vinyl, right, gives it a sense of I don't know how to describe it, but it just feels it feels better than other options like, injected PVC, which would have then made it feel very hard and brittle and would have had a very obvious seam line going down the arms and the body and the legs. Whereas with soft vinyl, I really wanted to avoid all of that. I wanted it to feel as clean as possible. And with the soft vinyl and the slush cast method, we were able to avoid any seam lines on the figure itself and air bubbles, and really give a very, very clear material that allowed for the bones on the inside, which are made of PVC, to really be visible and not be obscured by anything, and also for the glow to really come out.
So you can see that this soft vinyl figure is molded in sort of like this smoky, translucent plastic. But inside there is a full skeleton. You can see the rib cage, you can see the spine and the hips down there. Then, of course, the bones and the arms. One of the things that's really cool is even all of the fingers are there. Look at that, fully sculpted fingers going into the fingers of that outer body. It is amazing. And all of those sculpted bones inside are molded in glow-in-the-dark plastic, which glows very brightly. So if we put this scare glow in the dark, the glowing effect radiates from the bones inside the figure, and then the head glows as you would expect. So in the dark, you essentially just see a glowing skeleton, which, like I said, is probably what was intended with the original Scare Glow action figure. This is a beautiful effect. The glow is nice and bright. Man, this is just awesome. That's the only way to describe it. It is so awesome.
This is the first sample we got in from the factory, which was a proof of concept showing us that this could work, right? And it was just, again, something that was incredible to finally be able to hold it and see that it could work actually in, real life. So
aside from that interchangeable head that I already showed you guys, Scare Glow here also comes with two different versions of his halberd accessory, inspired by the versions that came with the vintage action figure. Of course, there's the more common bright neon green version of it, but there's also the more elusive glow-in-the-dark version. And yes, this staff also glows in the dark, so if you want a really fully glow-in-the-dark figure, you can display him with this one here. Just for the sake of this shot right now, we're going to put the green one on there just because it's a little more visible and striking. But you can see his right hand has got the grip and it holds onto it nice and tight. Again, I just want to point out how cool it is that the finger bones inside are even in a gripping pose. So it looks like he's gripping on to his weapon with the finger bones. I think that is so cool. But this completes the overall look of this amazing piece, and it is awesome. Alright guys, there are a few comparisons that I want to make with this figure just to show you some scale specifically. A few years back, Mattel actually did a handful of jumbo versions of the vintage Masters of the Universe figures here, but those were more in a 12-inch scale. So here you can see Mattel's jumbo Skeletor that they released, standing next to this new 15-inch tall Scare Glow from Mondo. Obviously, that Scare Glow is quite a bit bigger in scale. And if you're curious how he matches up with Mondo's other 1/6 scale Masters of the Universe figures, here is their Scare Glow, the second version of Scare Glow that they released. And again, this new Sofubi version, quite a bit bigger in size. And of course, we can't skip out on comparison time with the vintage Scare Glow action figure. And wow, look at the size difference between those two. So that right there is an original Mattel Scare Glow action figure from the vintage Masters of the Universe toy line, standing next to this amazing 15-inch version from Mondo.
I just want to, shout out the Mondo team and everybody for always giving it 150,000% on everything that we do together. Not only the internal team, but obviously our artists that we work with that are outside of Mondo who always do such a great job. And yeah, I'm just super stoked to be able to put out a piece like this that at least to me feels pretty special and feels like it's something that I never thought would happen. So I'm glad that we're able to kind of realize that and share it with everybody.
So there you go, my friends. There is your first look at the incredible Mega Sofubi Scare Glow. What a cool toy. I mean, seriously, that action feature, the molded glow in the dark bones inside a translucent MOTU body, mwah! It's perfect. I absolutely love it. And I want to give a very special thanks to the folks over at Mondo for allowing me to offer up this first look at this upcoming figure. And a very special thanks to Hector for joining us with his insight here today. So, how do you guys get a hold of the new Scare Glow? Well, this particular item is going on sale through Mondo on February 27th. It's a timed edition exclusive, so it will be on sale from February 27th through March 5th. So order it anytime during that period for a total price of $265. I'll make sure I link to Mondo in the video description down below so you can check it out for yourself. Thank you guys so very much for joining me for today's video, and until next time. Like, if this does well, this could potentially see a new format with Masters of the Universe with you guys, perhaps?
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely something that we've never done it before, right? So we're really excited to see how the community responds to it. I mean, when we had it at Decon, it got nothing but praise, and people were really stoked. So yeah, I mean, we're happy to continue this on and do something else and push it and do really the best part about Sofubi and the part of the allure, at least for myself, and I think a lot of other Sofubi collectors, is the fact that you can get one kind of like on model representation of a character, and that's cool. But what really makes it fun is all the wild colorways and all the different kind of styles that come out after the one comes out. So it's like, we have this kind of open canvas, right, to kind of like just explore, like, oh, what if we did this color, or what if we did this, or what if we infused it with some other material or some other things, right? Like, because the slush casting method of it allows you to do a bit more than what you could do with some of the injected PVC, right? So I think that's where there was a lot of fun there to be had, where it's like you could have potentially like an army of different color ones, right, on your shelf, right? And it kind of harkens to that Sofubi and how I collect, right, where it's just like I have like 5 different versions of the same Godzilla, but it's like orange and blue and pink and glows in the dark and has glitter. So, but yeah, not only that, but then yeah, we would love to explore other characters, right? I mean, Roboto seems like the perfect one.
Oh man, I'm already excited.